the screen? Okay. Get over here so I can see you. Stop me if you have a question. Okay, so most of this stuff you should have seen before in middle school, but a scatter plot is a graph where points plotted that show a relationship. Okay, so they show a relationship between two sets of data. This is considered, this is a weird word, but it's bivalent data, which tells you bi means two. And then that is involving two variables. So the variable, that birate is like variables. So involving two variables is basically what that means. And in our case, it's going to be X and Y. Okay. So here, if we were to plot these points, okay? So if we have 2.5 and 68, so 2.5 and we go up to 68 and we put a dot there. Okay, and then let me change this to a highlighter so that we can actually see it. All right, 2.5 and 68. That's big. Okay, 0.5 and 71. And then 4 and 98. I don't know why it's doing it so big, but anyway, 3 and 91. And then 0.25 and 40. And then 3.5 and 83. Everybody see what I'm doing? I'm just going down through here and plotting these dots, 2 and 75, and 1 and 60, and then so on and so forth. Okay, does everybody see that that's going to the right? So if we were to talk about that, what would we know that that most likely is going to be? It's going to be positive. Yes, does everybody see that? Okay. So if you notice here, these are all clustered going up to the right. So we say they have a positive association. Okay, positive association. These are going to the left, so that is a negative association. And sometimes you'll see the word correlation too instead of association. Here, they really just are everywhere. There's no particular way, so this would be none or no correlation or association. So, all right, so in this case, as x is increasing, so as x increases, okay, so it goes to the right, y is also increasing. So as x is getting bigger, y is getting bigger. Here, as x is increasing, so always read left to right, remember on our graphs. So as x is increasing, then y is going down. So it is decreasing. Okay, here there's no relationship between x or y. No relationship between x or y. Okay, does that make sense? So let's look here. When two sets of data have a positive or negative correlation, you can use a trend line to show the correlation clearly. A trend line is a line on a scatter plot drawn near the points that show the correlation. So do you see that it doesn't touch every one, but most of them are about the same distance from there, so it's a good trend. Okay, so today and tomorrow we are going to be talking about how to write that trend line. Okay, write an equation of a trend line. It is a straight line, so that means it is a linear function. Linear function, and we know all about linear functions. To write an equation of a linear function, we use the slope-intercept. form. So we need M and B. So we use 2 points on the line to calculate the slope. We determine the y-intercept, write your equation, and use it to predict the values. Okay, so if I'm up here at this point here, this here we're going to say is 12, 180. Okay, now if you did it a little bit closer, you'd still get about the same. Okay, but we're going to use that point. And then this one here, we're going to go up here. And this one here, it's about halfway in between. So that would be 25 and 610. Okay, does everybody understand that you want to pick one on like to the left part and one to the right. You don't want to pick the middle because that's kind of a catch. So you always want to pick one left and right. Any questions on that? Okay, so we can use the slope formula to find the slope. So I'm going to do 610. Remember, it's the difference of the y's minus 180 over 25 minus 12. So that's going to give me 430 over 13. Everybody good there? Okay. So that tells me so far that I can do that. What is 430 divided by 13? And if we did that in our calculator, you would get approximately 33. Now, we don't want to round till the end, but that is approximately 33. And we're just going to use that as our slope at the end. But when we plug it in, so we can plug in right now, we know this, 430 over 13, and that's x plus b. Can I tell exactly where b is from this line? No. So I need to take either point and plug it in for x and y. So I'm going to take the 180 and plug it in for y, and then 430 over 13 times 12 plus b. Okay, when I do all of that, I'm going to multiply and then subtract. So I'm not going to, I've got the answer here, so I'm going to get negative 2820. So I multiply these two and then subtract over 13. So then if I simplify that, it's approximately 216 negative. So I'm going to get y equals 33x minus 216. So you find the slope, take one of the 2 points, plug it in for x and y, take 12 in place of x, y, and then solve for the y-intercept, and then write the new equation. Questions there? Okay, so let's talk about the correlation coefficient, okay? The correlation coefficient is labeled R, okay? A value R is always between -1 and 1, okay? That describes the strength and direction, the strength, how strong it is, and direction, which way it's going, of the relationship between two variables. So this number will always, always, always be between -1 and 1, okay? The closer to -1 and the closer to 1 it gets, the straighter your line's going to be, okay? So here, if we looked at this, we would have like -1, -2/3, -1/3, 0, 1/3, 2/3, and 1. And I just used these because it was divided into 3. If I had divided into 4, I would have used 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and 1. Does that make sense? There's no special thing that I'm just kind of showing you on the number line. The closer it gets to -1, it will have a negative slope and it will go straight line to the negative side. The closer it gets to +1, will go right and will almost be the dots would line up. So here, this would be like -1 because all the dots make that straight line. It's a perfect positive one, not negative one. Perfect positive correlation going to the right. Now this, you can almost make a straight line, and that would be a strong positive correlation. So that would be like your 2/3. And then this, you can still see it's going to the right, but it's the line's getting more spread out, so that's getting weak. There's absolutely no correlation. And this is the same you can with the association. So then here, it's going to the left, so it's negative. It's spread out, so it's weak. Here, get a little bit closer, strong negative correlation. Straight perfect line, so it's a perfect negative correlation. Okay, so correlation is not causation. A correlation does not prove one thing causes the other. One thing might cause the other might cause the first to happen. They might be linked by a different thing, or it could be random, but they do not cause it to happen. Okay? So let's look one more time at this line, and I'm sorry it didn't print good, but we're going to say, I'll tell you what the points are. This is 0, 4, and this is 7, 8. Okay? So 0, 4, and 7, 8. So the first thing we want to do is find the slope of the line. So I do 8 minus 4, difference of the y's, over 7 minus 0. So that gives me 4 over 7. Okay, any questions there? Okay, in this problem, I know my slope is 4 over 7. And then I know the y-intercept. It gave it to me right there, so plus 4. So I do not have to do anything else to solve for the y-intercept because it was right there given to me. Questions on that? Okay, so let's look at this last one. Okay, this point right here is 3, 9. And then this point down here is 6, 0. Again, I'm going to find my slope first. So I can do 9 minus 0. And then I can do 3 minus 6. So I get 9 over negative 3, and I get negative 3. Now this is not my y-intercept, and I can't really tell where my y-intercept is up here. So I have to take this, and I plug this in, but I still need to solve for my b. So I'm going to use this point. Anytime you can use a 0, it makes your problem a lot easier. So y is 0, and then x is 6. Okay? Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. Add 18 to both sides. So 18 equals b. Now I'm not solving for b, I'm writing the equation. So it would be y equals negative 3x plus 18. Now you need to go back to the graph and ask yourself, does that make sense? Is the graph going to where it might cross up here at 18? Yes. If you had got negative 18, would this graph ever go down here and cross at negative 18? No. Okay, so let me pause this.